Oh yes, CD Projekt Red has always dreamed of having some sort of extensive Cyberpunk GTA Online type of experience for 2077. Well, here's the headlines because yeah, CD Projekt Red has opened up about just that today. So check it out right here. It says the standalone Cyberpunk multiplayer game. Will we ever get a GTA Online experience? New comments from CD Projekt Red. We're going to be diving into all of that today. Plus, we're going to be talking about this one right here. Update 1.7, big feature discovered. Fans Datamine hidden video, which reveals upcoming feature. This is really cool. And yes, it is going to be changing Cyberpunk completely. Also, we have this one right here. Is this Cyberpunk dream finally dead? Fans still want third person as an option, but will it ever really happen? We've got some new details about that one. Let me just say this, don't hold your breath. Plus, we have Hollywood stars are suddenly interested in Cyberpunk. Something is potentially brewing over at Netflix. I'll explain in just a moment. Plus, we have this right here. Should Cyberpunk Orion take place in Night City or a new city? This is the sequel, of course. Or how about a Lego Night City? Fans weigh in. So let's get into this right now. Now, there's a video guide in the description below. So if you want to skip ahead to the part that you seek, check that out. So here it is. It says CD Projekt Red explains why Cyberpunk killed multiplayer. Now we're going to also be talking a little bit about the sequel and how this is going to be tying into online modes and things like that. So let's get into what CD Projekt Red had to say. We really need to look at what were the priorities for Cyberpunk after it launched. Philip Weber of CD Projekt Red said. Now, Weber was senior quest designer and coordinator on Cyberpunk. Today, he's acting narrative director on the new Witcher game, codenamed Polaris. And, you know, a lot of his vision and what he's thinking here in these quotes are going to tie into the next Witcher game. So check this out. It says this, the priority was that the main experience will run for the people in a really good state, he said. And essentially, the switch of priorities meant that other research and development projects had to go away, which of course would include the multiplayer standalone game. Now, it says this, with Cyberpunk, we want to do many things at the same time, and we just need to really focus and say, okay, what's the important part? Yeah, we really want to make that part really good. And this is really telling to me about why Cyberpunk had such a rough launch. It's a story that we've heard many, many times in the gaming industry where a company bites off more than they can chew. And I think that's the case with Cyberpunk 2077 in that they're doing many different research and development projects. They're also developing Cyberpunk 2077, when in reality, the entire time, they should have never, ever even been questioning adding multiplayer into Cyberpunk 2077 at all. They should have been all hands on deck with the core experience. And it sounds like to me, they learned from this lesson big time, and they're taking that lesson into the next Witcher game, into the Cyberpunk sequel. So at least that is good news right there. But what about the standalone Cyberpunk multiplayer game that was supposed to be in development? So let's go ahead and get into that right now. It goes on to say this. A year ago, CD Projekt said that it had reconsidered the plan to release a AAA standalone multiplayer Cyberpunk game. Previously, we hinted that our next AAA would be a multiplayer Cyberpunk game, said Adam Kinski of CD Projekt Red. But we have decided to reconsider this plan given our new, more systematic, agile approach. So yes, no longer are we going to be getting a standalone multiplayer Cyberpunk game. However, it looks like with Cyberpunk Orion, the sequel, it is most likely that yes, there would be some sort of multiplayer experience attached to that. And personally, I think it's going to be big, given that Epic Games is involved. Now, as this, instead of primarily focusing on one big online experience or game, we're focused on bringing online into all of our franchises one day. We're building an online technology that can be seamlessly integrated into development of our future games. And, you know, that, in my opinion, sounds like Epic Games, again, is going to be handling a lot of that because they are in a partnership with Epic Games right now. So I am so curious to see where this goes and if this could potentially attach to other Epic products or games, if you will, because, you know, recently we got Geralt of Rivia in Fortnite and that sort of thing. So I feel like Epic Games is kind of building this metaverse, like one of the first ever successful metaverses, I guess you would say. We'll see where it goes in the future. Now, I was on to say this. He also said, let's stress this here. CD Projekt Red makes single-player, story-driven, AAA RPGs, that is not changing. What is changing is our long-term approach to online. By this, we mean ensuring we are properly prepared to implement online elements in our games where they make sense. We don't want to go overboard or lose our single-player DNA. We want to take thoughtful steps to to build robust online capabilities, which to me sounds really good as long as it doesn't take away from, a development team that is solely focused on single player. It sounds like they're going to have, development teams that are going to be focused on the narrative-driven single-player open-world experience, and then a separate team, it sounds like, that would be more focused on the multiplayer elements of games going forward. And to me, that makes sense that they would be doing that for sure, because it sounds like to me, a lot of you guys are also very interested in exploring multiplayer in Night City or a Cyberpunk game. Let me know if that's you, or if you're like, hey, yo, I just want single player only going forward. And yeah, let's talk about update 1.7 because someone discovered something really cool. It's going to be a feature that for sure is going to be changing Cyberpunk in a very good way. Check it out right here. It says, found something interesting in the game files. It was discovered by Rogue103. Check out the video right here. So yes, vehicular combat is coming to Cyberpunk 2077. I cannot wait for this. And this is kind of a tease to what we can potentially expect from this. Of course, update 1.7 isn't going to stop with just vehicular combat. And yes, this should have been in the game right out of the gates, I know. But I cannot wait to see what they do with the police system, melee combat, vehicular combat, and of course, we're going to be getting new cyberware and stuff like that. And maybe there's a surprise or two in there as well. We'll have to wait and see what they do. I have you guys covered when it comes to update 1.7, but update 1.7 is also going to be the last final free update that we will be getting for Cyberpunk 2077. And then, yes, we're going to be getting Phantom Liberty. Can't wait for that. And beyond that, the definitive edition of Cyberpunk as well. So some really cool stuff to look forward to for sure. Now, let's talk about Hollywood and Cyberpunk 2077 and movies. Check this out right here. Stranger Things star David Harbour wants a role in God of War sequel, shares his love for WoW, Cyberpunk, and more. So we're seeing the trend of Hollywood stars being more and more interested in gaming. And that's simply because that, yes, a lot of new TV series are appearing related to games. We have the Fallout TV series. And of course, we recently got Cyberpunk Edge Runners. You have to remember that we are getting the Last of Us HBO TV series. So many TV series and movies related to video games. So yeah, we're seeing more and more Hollywood stars being interested in video games because I think what's happening is they're having their agents say, yo, you know what? You need to take interest in gaming right now because it's going to get bigger and bigger. You're going to be seeing tons and tons of TV series based on very popular AAA titles. So yeah, mention it publicly. Let Sony, let everyone that is a game developer, publisher know that you are interested in starring in gaming, movie, TV series in the future. So I think that's what is happening. You know what? I would love to see David Harbour in, like a Cyberpunk 2077 type role. I don't know if he would be the main star, but he's one of my favorite actors right now in Hollywood. I love him in Stranger Things. And he has like that new Santa movie out. What is it called? Violent Night? I have yet to see that. But anyway, let's keep going right now and talk about this one right here. This was on the Cyberpunk forums. The Cyberpunk sequel setting, Night City again, Night City expanded, or new location. And here's the options here. This is the question. Do we see Night City as is in the Cyberpunk sequel, Night City expanded, vertical horizontal expansion, or new location entirely? Or what about a Lego Night City? You know what? I would love to see Cyberpunk 2077 Lego video game. I'm just saying that would be awesome. I would be down for that big time. But yeah, for me personally, I think what would realistically happen is that we would be seeing a variation of Night City, perhaps in a different year and a different take on it and more vertical. And then they would want to expand that to the online space as well. So the space would hopefully be shared between single player and online, much like Rockstar Games does with their GTA franchises and what we saw with GTA 5. So yeah, that's what I am expecting, honestly, is that they would just continue the theme of Night City since it's so heavily integrated into the tabletop game and that sort of thing. So let me know what you guys would like to see, or do you want to see something entirely new? We heard rumors beforehand that we would be going to like South Korea, and it would be a heavily AI controlled city that you would experience, something totally different from Night City. Now, I think that would be cool, but yeah, that seems like it would be a lot of work, but who knows? They have to, basically build the game from the ground up anyway, since on Unreal Engine 5. Then, of course, a lot of you are wondering, hey, what about the third-person perspective? Are we going to be getting that? It's a big discussion here on the forums, hoping for third-person option soon for consoles. Yes, we have the option on PC, at least in terms of modding, but that's it. Nothing officially supported by CD Projekt Red. Now, I did a video a while back about how, a job listing indicated, that yes, CD Projekt Red was hiring for a third-person camera developer for both The Witcher and Cyberpunk franchise. Now, the Cyberpunk 2077 page has been updated, and we have less and less job offers on display here. No third-person camera perspective developer, being listed anymore. And I'll explain why that might be. Now, of course, you have this listing right here for The Witcher and Cyberpunk franchises. And again, what is missing here? Yes, the third-person camera perspective developer is missing, and it's most likely because they're done with that position, because recently we got the announcement that the next-gen update for The Witcher 3 would be coming out December 14th. And yes, that is going to be coming with a brand new third-person perspective in that game. So I'm assuming that's what that job offer was actually for. And all is said and done, potentially, for an officially supported third-person perspective for Cyberpunk 2077. Unless they absolutely surprise us and they're like, hey, here's third-person option. But guys, I would not hold your breath at all at this point. I think we're not going to be getting third-person for Cyberpunk 2077 unless they have some modder they hire and they officially add it in, like with some sort of modding update. That's the only thing I can assume. But my personal opinion is that a lot of these developers are super hyped to be working on The Witcher 4 and getting busy with the Cyberpunk sequel, moving to North America, moving to Boston, and getting that new studio underway. That's what they're really, really focused on. And of course, finishing up Phantom Liberty. All right, so now it's time to get into your top comments. Remember, leave a comment down below. It could end up in a future video. So what was my most recent video about? Check it out right here. Update 1.7, the final update. CD Projekt Red just revealed huge news expansion update. Check out that video. It's a bittersweet video for sure, knowing that it's going to be like the final free update to Cyberpunk 2077. It's been a journey for sure. All right, so let's get into what you guys had to say about it. We have Dusty V8 Sound, who says, I'm really enjoying the Horse arcade game. Hope CD Projekt Red adds more arcade games. I hope there are many more official paid expansions after Phantom Liberty. I saw a Pat Your Cat mod that even had the holographic cat in one of the apartments. We'd love to see that mod added if CD Projekt Red could pull off mod support for consoles, allowing players to add whatever. Yeah, again, that would be cool, but don't hold your breath. The only way I see mods coming to consoles is like an officially supported patch that says, hey, here's the top 5 mods from PC. Now they're available on consoles for free. Check it out. That would be cool if they started doing something like that every 6 months, doing a free update for console players, highlighting and showcasing the most popular mods. Man, I'm telling you what, I really, really hope that CD Projekt Red considers doing something like that. Now we have Old Dirty Patrick. Says, I really hope CD Projekt Red adds mods to consoles like Bethesda did with Fallout 4. Fallout 4 was amazing, and adding mods made it so much more fun. If CD Projekt Red does the same with Cyberpunk, it will truly make the game godly. Bring on the mods. Hell yes, couldn't agree more. Now we have this one from Alpha Duas Plays. Usa Plays. Says, I would love to see Neil Blomkamp team up with them to make a Cyberpunk movie, because the style of the technology in his movies like District 9, Elysium, and Chappie is so damn cool. I think it would represent the tech in the Cyberpunk universe very well. Yeah, right now he's working on RoboCop, and that's going to be rated R. I cannot wait to see that. So it's going to be like more, pure to the RoboCop that we know and love. So I feel like he would be perfect for Cyberpunk. He would know to keep it in line with what we would expect. He wouldn't make it PG-13, for example. So yeah, Neil Blomkamp would be a great fit. And he did that short for Anthem. I was so excited to see that blow up into a full-blown Anthem film. I don't know if you guys remember that cinematic live action trailer they did, but that's a bummer that never happened. Yeah, so I definitely see where you're coming from. I see massive potential with him doing something Cyberpunk, and maybe, just maybe, you never know, like really, because he really is, whoa, there goes that car. He really is in tune with, you know, the gaming space, at least in my opinion. There it is. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned for more Cyberpunk news updates and, of course, open world gaming goodness. And I will see you all next time. Take care.